Alright, hello everyone. So, over the past, I think about 2 weeks, I have been playing the Dreadringer, just kind of for fun and stuff, and I've been wanting to get a feel for this weapon. Basically, the weapon came out, I noticed it had the exact same speed as Range Blaster, had that same hard-hitting vibe, and I was like, oh cool, this is fun. And I played it, and I did pretty good with it, like day one-wise. I was like, oh, okay, this is probably for fun weapon for me. And I never really thought about it more than that, because I didn't think the weapon was that good. I kind of just moved on, and, you know, we're a long time later, and now I'm playing the weapon again. And, I've played it for a bit, I've kind of had fun with it. I almost got 2900 in zones with it randomly. That was a thing. I've been playing it a bit in comp as well, you know. And, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit as kind of an experimentation, because I think this weapon is something we kind of need more of, and the main thing is that I think it fills a different kind of archetype. Outside of Dynamo, which is not actually viable, we don't really have an area of effect weapon that is also a painter. They just kind of don't exist. Like, if you play, like, an AoE weapon, especially AoE, like AoE Slayer, I mean, not talking about Anchor, because obviously there you have X-Blow. But in terms of, AoE Slayer, you have, like, Bucket, you have Machine, you have, like, the Blasters. None of those really paint. You can even go as far as stuff like Stamper, which is still, like, an LOS weapon, but at least has some weird hitboxes, and they don't really, like, paint. Like, Viper and Stamper get solid paint numbers, but they're not painting guns. Dread is a paint gun. Dread turfs the map so well, it basically does it for fun. I think it's kind of silly. Like, the weapon feels very stupid, because you'll just be like, I'll run in, I'll, like, go die a lot, and, like, hold forward and fight people, and then the game will end, and I'll look at the KD screen, and it'll say, like, 2,000 paint. Like, oh, okay, sure. Because, like, that's what this gun is, you know? Just kind of paints the floor a ton, as it does things. Which is pretty interesting, and in my opinion, kind of allows for some different comps, or it would if it had a different kit, but I'll get to that later. Like, I think you can run Dread alongside, like, Carbon, or Regular Roller, or alongside something like Slosher, or Blaster, you know? And normally, if you run, like, a Carbon, you need everything else to be a paint gun around it. It's kind of new that you can run, like, an AoE weapon, and you can still have another, like, non-painting weapon with it. And that's why I think we need more weapons like it, because I think that's really interesting. And, like, the closest thing we've had to that is Dynamo, which, you know, isn't really that good. So, you know, I think that's fun. How about the weapon itself? Dread is basically, people compare it to Range, but I would say it's different than Range in, like, one main distinction. For Range, you mostly need people to paint for you. You deal all the damage in the world. You have a one-shot direct, or you do, like, 70, and, like, it's good that people combo with you, but the main thing you need is for people to paint so you can move around the map. Dread is the opposite. Dread can paint the entire map for fun, so it gets to move around just fine, even though it's slow, but it needs people to do damage. Because Dread only does 90, which sounds like a lot, but, like, it means you need a second slosh regardless, and that's slow. And on top of that, you can spread out your sloshes. You have a 48 and 42 damage hit. And that, like, if you want to just get reliable damage, you can kind of spread out the sloshes and have a more reliable 2-hit kill, basically. And, or 2-hit damage. So you can basically try to go for hitting someone for, like, minimum 42 damage and have, like, a pencil kill off it, or a blaster kill off it, or something like that, you know, combo off of it. So if Dread goes in with other things doing damage, like especially stuff like Burst Bomb or Pencil, then Dread can actually kill things. And I think Dread kind of has to be, like, a more aggressive QR weapon right now, because, one, it's a slow weapon, and two, it has Reef Slider. So, like, you are going to die if you are being, like, active with the weapon at all, so I think, like, QR builds are basically a necessity on this thing. And you're basically balancing it between that and the special power you need. But I think the weapon still struggles a lot fighting outside of it. Like, it definitely needs help to fight. You have to have it very, like, set up in order to do it. You need to have people coordinating with you well, but I think it seems fine. What are my problems with the weapon? I think that the kit is bad. Now, I'm okay with Suction. Like, Suction's fine. It's ink efficient enough, especially with Comeback, to use the bomb, and it's a good bomb. you know, suction's not the problem. The problem is Reef Slider. Reef Slider means that this thing is basically locked to zones only right now. I don't think it's really viable elsewhere, and it also means that, despite the fact that you can get so many specials a game, you have to be aggro because you get a shark. Like, there's no point in being supported to get 10 Reef Sliders. Like, that's just not good. The only situation where you do that is Zone Cheese, and I think Zone Cheese, like, in competitive play, is not that good. Like, it's very situational. You don't really want to be trading your life and a special for a zone cap because it just makes it really easy for a team to just trade you out and win the following fight. So it's a very, like, I think it's a very desperate need a cap situation type deal. So I'm not as big a fan of it personally. Now, Slider at least does have some cool combos with Dread. Like, it's very easy to combo one of your slosher hits off it. You basically either, like, I think its best use case is you just jump at people and you slosh at them, and you, like, are predicting you're gonna hit damage, and then you pop Shark after to follow up, and then after the Shark explodes, maybe you get another 2 sloshes, and you just try to kill people with it. But, I mean, the main problem for me is, like, Dread is a very slow weapon. I don't really want it to be going up close to people, so Slider just puts you in a very bad position if you don't get, like, a multi-kill immediately after, basically. Like, you need the Slider, and it needs to be, like, a huge Slider, or your gun is just in a horrible fucking position that it doesn't want to be in. So, I think that's its main issue. It's just, not even that Slider is that bad right now, because, like, in zones it's fine, especially because it fits what this weapon wants to do. But it's more that I think it puts you in positions it doesn't want to play. My opinion on Dread right now is it's probably a good zones weapon, and it's okay on the other modes. And if it ever gets a really good kit, it will probably be, like, a top tier. Because, like, any good special, you can just get so many of them. And you can just go, like, use that, and then you get access to a ton of different comps. So, like, Dread has this ability to, like, okay, but why would you pick Dread? So you can run, like, a roller or a bucket or something and have another AoE weapon. That's why. Like, that's a very easy answer that Dread has. So, like, that's what I like about it. It has the, like, the question of why would you pick the weapon, though. It just has an easy answer for it. But unfortunately, I think Slider just makes it a bit awkward to fit into comps right now. Because, like, if you run, like, a blaster or a roller or something, it can't get its entry very often, and you have a shark, so you're just relying on your third guy, like the other shooter, to get an entry tool. This means it's very easy to get locked out. So, yeah. That's my opinion on it right now. It's been fun. Will I main it? I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing right now in general, outside of I want to play blasters. Like, I'm enjoying rapid range and a little bit of S-Blast, though it kind of needs a little bit of buffs for it to be worth it for me. And so, I would love to play something else alongside it to have some flexibility. My number one kit would be a good bomb plus cooler, because then I can suddenly play this weapon in, like, any pickup ever and fit in comps, and none of my weapons do that, so it's nice that I don't have to be really picky about what we're playing with. That would be very fun for me, so, Nintendo, maybe make this thing your, 8th cooler gun? Smile? Anyway, that's gonna be this discussion on Dread, so, yeah, I think it is very underrated, and, it's fun, I enjoy it, and, yeah, I think it's still pretty good. I hope they give it another good kit. I don't think the main weapon needs any buffs, I guess we should put that out there, so, yeah. Anyway, bye everyone.